with the 1v1 potential of the Akali post 6. Might need some items, and Dove, of course, will have a slight advantage in the earlier stages of the game, given the range advantage of the Zoe and the push power that he will have before the points into the queue are going to be there for the Akali. So opportunities for Sandbox in the early game to make things happen, and that is always scary if you're up against this team.
Because in a vacuum, you're a bit scared about a tank support against Yuumi, because that's a lot of free harass that you're not going to be able to mitigate by any means as support Nautilus. But the vacuum is ended by the Mulan-inspired Xin Zhao here, because this Xin Zhao could just set up a tent bot side, and if the first CC lands from Nautilus, Xin Zhao does the rest.
Exactly. It feels a little bit sometimes when you're getting ganked as the Yuumi, like you've only got one champion in that lane, and means that it's a little bit more difficult for little old Lucian to get out. But we'll see what happens, as this is the Yuumi that we've been waiting for. I feel like the Lehens Yuumi has been the one that this is going to set the bar for what Yuumis are supposed to do and why she was seeing so much attention on the ban list over and over again in the first week.
Griffin bring back the Akali. They have to fight back from one game down. Sonatar didn't work. Here we go for game number 2.
Yep. If Chovy's going to find redemption, it's going to be on the Akali that he's so good at. Griffin fans, full voice, trying to get them back into this series. As you can see, Sandbox grouped up as 5, actually, as the Prowling Projectile will find Ghost. It is, of course, going to be the Comet, one of the most free summoner spells. What's your favorite when... Sorry, not summoner spells, Keystone Runes. What are your favorite summoners, though, Papa? Do you like going the Exhaust Heal route, a little bit more defensive?
On the side of Yuumi?
Yeah.
In solo queue, I think Exhaust Ignite fits in most spots. In pro play, you take the heal because you want teleport on your AD carry, and you get a free teleport there.
Currently, Viper is an AD carry with 3 summoner spells, is what it feels like. Outside of course, teleport not working in a skirmish.
He's the Pentakiller, so give him all the summoner spells he can. They're just walking in.
Yep, that's 4 people. And the Yuumi hops out, but gets herself the shield back.
That was actually really smart from
Real
Lehens.
cute,
It's something that, if the champion was more well-known, would be standard, but you pop the CC, right? Because you can pop out, tank it, and then go back in. It's a small thing, but Lehens, again, for anyone joining in late, was literally the guy everyone looked to for Yuumi advice when this champion was released. He was the one that innovated a lot of the rune choices. You see them here. Cut down will always be a Yuumi rune, amusingly till 9-12, which is the first champion in history to be in some ways nerfed, getting more base health.
Perfect. Absolutely perfect. I feel like if you're going to break the meta when it comes to a balanced situation, being Yuumi makes the most sense to me.
If you guys are wondering how that is, she had the lowest base health, and Cut Down is a really powerful rune in terms of power level now, but she was always way lower health than everyone else, so even in lane, she was getting plus 10 to 15% damage on her already high damage Q, so amusingly, her base stat going up means that Cut Down doesn't work in lane like it used to.
Well, now is going to be Viper and Lehens basically being one champion here on the bottom side, and Sandbox trying to deal with it as best they can. Meanwhile, top side of the map, Sword once again going aggressive onto Summit, much like the early game went in game number 1. As that was a bit interesting. I think he managed to get that farm as we caught back in time just a little bit. But we were talking about this earlier on in this mid lane here. Dove should have control of this lane if all things go well for Sandbox. We'll see how the Xin is going to do playing around that. Already, he's in the enemy jungle.
To finish your secondary point, the Comet is the rune choice on the Yuumi. You can go a few different ways. You know, you see Summon Airy, absolutely. Summon Airy definitely comes through. Yep. But the Comet just means that poke hits a little bit harder. So theoretically, you're probably going to mostly be getting it onto Joker, and you just want to keep his health bar low so that if he does eventually choose to engage, there's trade kill potential.
All right, well, see how it goes as this game continues. Remember, guys, it was a lead for Griffin throughout the entire early game, almost. Last time around, it was a different story when it came to the scaling. And now as we have a look down the list of team compositions, what should we be looking for, Papa? When should these teams be winning the game based on these comps?
I think it's a very intriguing one to talk about. You always see Sivir and you assume late game win condition.
Yep.
Sandbox pivoted their draft a bit, as we do see Tarzan very close here. They're looking for the hop 2.
Yep, Nethier's gone, but Tarzan shorts it. A little bit unfortunate. Summit gets the free damage back, and in fact gets all the value out of the Aftershock as well. Look at that. You get ganked, and you trade with half the enemy's health bar.
But you can't help but kind of stare into the abyss, knowing that Tarzan's kind of coming back as a Lee Sin player, just like Score is not known for his Lee Sin.
Yeah.
Tarzan and Lee Sin hadn't been so entrenched. And then first gank, it's a great timing, but shorts the Q onto the minion wave. So a little bit unaware of his positioning there. Speaking of positioning, Joker's trying to back up his top laner where possible.
Yeah, it's just going to be a 1v1 on the bottom side of the map, or a 1v2 in theory, with Ghost versus Viper and Lahens. I think his position was given away, though, and he does walk over the shrine given down to give vision all the way over to Griffin. Prowling Projectile certainly prowls its way forward and takes Ghost down to half. This wave's in a decent position for the Sivir, but see whether a dive is on the cards. Of course, more difficult when you're Yuumi, and you have, of course, like you mentioned before, a very, very low health pool to work with.
And when you're against one of the hardest and strongest laning duos, your support goes for a pretty extended roam. And actually, the turret plate solo picked up by Yuumi. The turret plate kind of assumed, given the roam timing. But that's one way to play around the lane strength. Just leave it.
Yeah. Once again, Chovy is playing this weird game where he often finds himself losing trades in the mid lane and not finding a health bar, but always seems to be able to find the farm. As we're just weaving over and over again. Lahens, I know why he loves this champion now. He just loves prowling projectile and weaving it through minion waves.
Champion is very flexible in terms of build path, but you almost always see an early Medjai's, because if Yuumi dies, it's probably, you know, a team fight loss anyway. But if she's living, she's getting lots of stacks.
Yep. Just so easy to jump on top of your opponent, of your allies with you and me.
Coolest tech choice we saw was over in the LEC, bringing the Poppy out, because you can interrupt the ability to reapply the you and me, and there were a lot of kills onto Yuumi, a champion who honestly dies like a handful of times a game's maximum.
That was probably the highest value Poppy pick that I'd ever seen, because also it countered LeBlanc in the mid lane, and that didn't work out so well that series either. I just love watching Vizicachi win on Poppy, because I remember casting him back in 2014 when he was in his promotion tournament to get into the LCS.
Well, for the longest time, the Wolverine meme where you're like looking at the picture you wish you had was Poppy for LCK cast. We never see Poppy in Korea, even though there were a lot of times that Poppy made sense. Now it's just trophies of any sort, but
yeah,
times change.
Oh, come on, Papa.
We can't win anything, Atlas.
I know. There's no need to talk about it all the time.
All right, let's talk about tournaments we will win. LCK.
Did you say toilets we will win?
No, tournaments.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I'm starting to think our ability in a tournament is like that, as Sword goes down very, very low, but doesn't fall just yet. Summit turning into the Jace, but unable to finish off any of the kills. Zonfleek very close to dying.
It's a pretty high value time to change that, because wanted to do that extra damage on the Jace as he was under turrets. The range form would have been relevant. Back away from that one. The Infernal Drake to Griffin, a pretty happy one. Definitely a lot of scaling on their side.
Yeah, 600 gold now the lead for Griffin. On top of that as well, there's power and control on the bottom side of the map working out for them as Tarzan's moving on in. There's some extra mana back there for Ghost, but doesn't have the spell shield now. Joker will have the Titan's Wrath. He will be able to keep himself healthy, and he's blocking these projectiles. I like it.
Pre-6, though, it feels like Tarzan kind of now understands, with no CC on Lahens or Tarzan at 5, there's no turret dive reality. Tarzan actually hit 6 from the Krug camp, so because of that, even though they were in a great spot, the health bars weren't in turret dive potential with no hard crowd control.
You can see Dove holding onto this minion wave exactly where he wants it. Puts down wards comfortably as well, so Dove very, very happy on this Zoe. Of course, Chovy not going to be too worried, not behind by very much. Farm, not affecting the map just yet. You want to find a bit more from Chovy in this game, because game number 1 was a bit of a non-factor, made a few mechanical errors as well, which is not the Chovy way, as Summit going aggressive onto Sword once again. Lands the Abscond, gets booped back there by the hammer, is now Sword trying to offer his damage in. Steals away the ultimate, does Summit, as he wants to stay as Jace for a little while longer.
Wonder if we'll ever have a timer for longest time spent transformed as a Sylas in the future.
It's gonna be won by Pawn every single time.
I think Rookie also had a pretty extended siege for IG early this season on the Jace. Still Jace, by the way.
Yep.
Yeah, take
there
that.
We go.
Bit of
Powered Shock Blast. There we go. Who's the best Jace in this lane?
It's probably Summit.
Oh, are we back? Is this a game 5, Papa Smithy? Do we have it again? Oh, that's what I want. I just want blind pick. I want to have more mirror matchups. Remember when you used to talk about mirror matchups, Papa?
Summit's down, as we can tell.
Yeah, well, Q's going to land here as Tarzan gets the kickback somehow. That was the safeguard into the kick flash, expecting the flash, Papa. But Summit only used the abscond as he lands the Q. Tarzan had the whoopsie on the top side and then back-to-back highlight plays.
Cool, guys. Don't look at explosions. That's one way to bring yourself back into a game. Got the aftershock prop. We thought he was out, but oh no, says Tarzan.
That was exceptional. We're going to have to see that in slow motion once again to truly understand all the mechanics that just happened from Tarzan.
From KR Lee to KR Lee, Atlas, that was pretty sick.
Hell yeah. Well, on Fleek, we'll see whether he can affect the map on the bottom side. Dredgeline doesn't find the target. Final chapter comes in. Flash down from Joker. But the culling and final chapter combo, that's what we're talking about.
Now you walk up at the wrong time against Lucian and Yuumi, and you get culled where you stand. If you go a tank support and you don't get back up, you just straight up die.
Well, Ghost has to flash now as well because Ardent Blaze is going to pop your spell shield and then you have to get the heck out of there. Prowling Projectile would have meant a dead Sivir.
Welcome to competitive play, Yuumi. We've seen some really nice ways that both players understand the limits of the champion they have and how strong they are in lane. And the moment that Sandbox walk out of order, they're summarily dismissed.
Yeah, most definitely out of order situations going on here as the back is going to come in. Viper going home. I believe Lens goes with him.
Yep.
Played enough Yuumi.
You come
to
through
be
a
perfectly
teleport,
honest.
you come through everything, Atlas, you
sometimes get dropped off early, I think, with the teleport thing. Look at that.
Changes to get the Aftershock proc. Does Summit, goes over, and then here we go. Where's he at? He's near the blast plant, of course, catches him midair on the blast plant. A degree of luck, but with Tarzan, you know it's followed behind plenty of skill. Meanwhile, on the bottom side, it turns out that Yuumi hit level 6, and Joker died.
And so did Viper Papa. They both hit level 6, and those buttons are real powerful when used together. It actually looks like one of those, like the Space Invaders type games. What are the Bullet Hell? Looks like a Bullet Hell game when you've got Lucian and Yuumi together. Can that be the Lost Chapter culling combo? Can we just call it Bullet Hell?
I think that's actually a really good name for it.
All right.
I think you've coined that one.
Woohoo, there we go. Well, it's certainly looking like hell if you're a Sandbox fan. Viper down here towards the bottom side feels like he doesn't need his pocket cat book. Lehens is out doing some wards.
Shout out to the Sivir staying, you know, within the conversation after her Nautilus roamed earlier.
Yeah.
Yuumi does a lot of things, but roaming isn't one of them, given that she doesn't even buy boots most of the time. So, that's actually really good CS numbers for the Sivir. However,
yeah,
past the curse.
Yeah, he's just going to flash on him and kill him. Lehens didn't even need to pop his you and me to get over there onto Viper. Just knew that he had it. As bottom side of the map, that turret is well and truly going to go down. Sandbox will get themselves Shelly in response. And 3,000 gold, now the lead for Griffin. Can Sandbox use Shelly to get themselves back within touching distance is the question. I don't know is the answer because Viper's only going to get more and more gold as this turret is going to fall down.
This is the counterpoint Lucian, who is ungodly strong. And let's wait for Ghost's mistake. He stayed in lane.
Yeah, and didn't go back to underneath the turret because there was a Yuumi making his way in.
And the scary thing is, Yuumi wasn't even there.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
That was just Lucian.
Yeah. Yikes.
Nice look, Viper. I'm impressed. Color me impressed.
Remember, coming into this this series, Viper was 35% of Griffin's damage. He is certainly the man that has been keeping his wits about him, but Sandbox on the top side of the map, playing aggressively, is, yeah, that's a 2-for-1 special on that teleport. But at least the final chapter is not going to lock them down. On Fleek does have to flash.
If Sword was further up, could have you and me leashed onto Sword for the chase there, but there was no realistic way for him to get the CC. But like you say, it's already a success that you already got the flash out of Onfleek, who hasn't been able to make inroads. What did we say? We said, all right, if you're going to run tank supports and a Xinjiao, we're going bot, baby. Well, didn't see that this game, and the result has been summarily getting a lead on both the Sivir and the Nautilus.
And now if you have a look in the mid lane, Chovy is somehow completely even on farm and has his Gunblade. So that matchup that was going well not going as well. Speaking of not going well, Sword taking the place of the Akali. Yeah, that one didn't do quite as much as the old paddle stuff.
I feel like Griffin are playing good League of Legends peekaboo with Game 1 into Game 2. They're hoping your eyes were closed for Game number 1, dear viewers.
No, they just want to get as much practice in the early stages of the season as possible, so they drop games so that they can have more time on the Rift. It's all strategy. It's all next level strategy.
I mean, you're a former LPL caster, so I know sandbagging talk when I hear it.
Hey, Acorn was an LCK player, all right, and he was the best at it.
The irony, of course, is that I was also an LPL caster.
I know.
But I never talked about sandbagging when I was there. That was a post-pop sort of thing. Message for us about that.
Meanwhile, Ghost is in bullet hell, most definitely, but pushback is going to come in there, and he survives with a sliver.
And you know what? He doesn't even need to use a continue. No quarters needed. This bullet hell game's not over yet for Ghost. He's going to stay involved in it.
Still needs to take a timeout. This is still just a little bit of a timeout moment, but he will get to come back and play that particular save file yet again. OnFleek turns up here as well just to stand in while the arcade machine is being retuned. Of course, the Civ is going to come back, but this outer turret is not. That one is dead. As Viper and Lahens are so strong. I'm really glad this game is existing right now, Papa, because we needed Yuumi to be demonstrated as being busted, and right now, that is happening.
She had the Silas thing going on where Korea just couldn't play her when he was very clearly super strong. It's Lahens. This guy is a beast Yuumi, but you know, if anything, we're kind of over-inflating his importance this game. Viper is just kind of punked kids.
Exactly.
Because his kill on Sivir was just a 1v1.
Just disgusting. He's building towards his Essence Reaver as well, by the looks of things, so he'll have a lot of power as we move into the mid-game, especially after that Infinity Edge is done for item number 3. He'll be getting that closer than you would have otherwise expected, as Dove's going to get dove on. The final chapter comes down yet again. Chovy plays with his food for a few moments before gobbling him up.
And any diver like a Nocturne synergizes so well with the final chapter, it extends their threat range to that whole further CC, because the stun comes in. You know Akali will back it up with the damage. It's not even the side lane where Akali usually dunks on Zoe. This one just straight up in mid.
Yeah, and remember the root comes in after a couple of applications of the final chapter as well, so having a champion that can move around so effortlessly, you're guaranteed to get that CC. Not to mention the slow that comes in with the Prowling Projectile, which is almost impossible to miss. The champion's dumb. She really, really is.
So Dove walks up to poke and then just gets blown up. It's Exhaust as well to guarantee the kill. All nicely done. Exhaust ignited between the summoner spells, Chovy, and Lahens. Hold on to the heal for a future game. And what was lost in the shuffle of Game 1 when we were absolutely blinded by the Sonataric having a blistering start was that actually the Silas and the Jace matchup did very, very well and ended up being the hard carrier of the game way earlier than you would have assumed. That was because some of the grouping timings, all the teleports bore a lot of fruit. This has been much more the isolated laning phase. It's been priority sword, no huge CS lead, but if you combo the bullet hell with it.
Well, the bullet hell's going to come down yet again, but the last chapter is not there. Don't worry, Sword's got the follow-up. Yep. This bullet hell's got the projectiles coming in from the side of the screen as well, Papa. I didn't play this one. This one looks like one of the hard ones.
And this is one of those ones where in the review of the arcade machine, you say, this is a quarter grabber. This one is just trying to make money from you, because how could you ever win? Well, guess what? When those skills come out, and remember, the press the attack buff was there for some damage to start. Oh, boy. This is a rough one.
Yep, and Chovy's going to find OnFleek, and he really likes killing low-level Zinzaos. We've seen that one before. Dove has to flash away, picks up a gunblade, but he's not shooting anyone at this point in time. Ghost relegated to being underneath this turret, and Tarzan's happily soloing a Drake. Griffin are everywhere on the map, and Sandbox haven't found anywhere to call home.
How can Griffin beat both? The teams were on perfect game pace.
Yeah. How did Game 1 happen when this team is capable of this? I don't know. Joker throws out the depth charge, but it looks like he's just tilted more than anything else.
There's nothing he can do after the depth charge because Lahens just hangs out in the front and will have the W after the first CC hits him, so there's no way to actually make them accountable. The Nautilus, we said, needed backup they didn't get, and it just feels like Sandbox. We shouldn't lose sight of the fact they didn't seem to know how to interact with Sonataric in Game 1, and then Griffin made a lot of mistakes, and we saw super plays on the Silas. In Game number 2, they're getting huge value out of the Yuumi as well. So around the duo lane, Sandbox actually had a lot of problems this series.
Also has a lot of problems here as Chovy pretty comfortably obliterates on Fleek, avoiding Dove as much as he wants. Oh my goodness. When Chovy can do that, you know things have gone wrong in your game. Because we've seen this one before, and it was basically just from a Chovy highlight reel. What is it with Chovy and killing Zinzowser at a level 10? He's very good at it.
You should ask him.
Actually, that's a good point. He is here. I'll pop down for a sec. Just give me a moment.
No worries.
Do you think he's busy?
I'll cover all the action.
He doesn't look super busy, to be honest.
He's got his flash up. He can't die, so you can distract him for a while.
Yeah, no worries. All right, Len's in the mid lane, though. Let's see whether the cat book's going to get some solo time. No, not going to happen.
If you're looking at the skill
two
order,
champions now.
This is a skill order that I talked about when we saw Yuumi earlier. You'll notice 1 point in the heal, no more points in the heal.
Yep.
That's almost never the case with an Enchanter support. Now, the reason for this is if you actually go on like a low wiki or something like that and look at how the heal scales, the heal only scales with level in minimum health, and it's a percentage healer. So actually, in lane, if you're kind of, I guess, topping up, in a topping up sense, yes, you get more per level, but otherwise it's movement speed and a little bit of CDR. So actually, there's a very real argument to level your W, get that more adaptive force for your allies, and not actually level the heal, because the scaling doesn't get you as much as you first assume without fully reading the spell.
And also the way you're supposed to be playing Yuumi is to play her aggressively, right? And extra movement speed is an attack stat, as we can see. Bullet hell once again. Griffin make it look as busted as expected.
Yep. Ghost's going to need a couple more quarters. Sandbox probably going to need a game 3. We said that, and we had our hands in our mouths after game number 1. But in this one, they've got a lot of aggro options, and they don't even need to group to find their advantage.
Yeah, Prowling Projectile comes forward, but Summit is here. Does land the abscond there. Tries to go for the flash kick. Doesn't even need it. Caught out of midair by Joker. That stun looked like it lasted forever because the whole duration of the kick was against the wall.
And the perfect game is abated. First kill, first objective in all is on the Rift. Going to be stunned up is the Akali. As outlined, she has all of her escapes, so she'll be fine.
Yeah.
Nice little moment of just leveling from Sandbox. They get a little bit of pressure relief. They find a kill. You can see that pressure. Viper walks into range and just kills her.
It's like they've received all of the buffs from the arcade game. You know, all of the little augments that you can get.
And here's a new type of insect in the max range chains flash kick coming through from the Silas. No surprise, it's Summit grouping to change the game, and now they want to kill him, though.
Yeah, trying to punish him for getting the first kill, or at least setting it up. He's now looking to try and get over. Does have the culling, as he's not going to be shooting anyone, but he's doing a fair bit of damage now. Is the Kingslayer there? Nope, it's on cooldown, and that is another dead Silas on the Rift. Griffin did need to expend some resources, though, so some wards did go down over towards the Baron Pit, as OnFleek and Joker are going to easily take down this turret that was prepared earlier.
Yuumi's Medjay is done. Illusion has QSS Ninja Tabi on top of a very fast core.
Look at Chovy's hat, Papa Smithy.
I prefer to look at Sivir's lack of items and all of the items.
Really? I'd prefer. I'm just looking at the Griffin items now. That's what.
Okay, that's fair.
Happy.
You're just censoring it?
Yeah.
Why can't we active censor like they can on Japanese TV? What are we doing here?
Dang it! We've ruined everything. We need the fuzzy out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not going to see any fuzzy out in this game. You got to look at it. You got to look straight at it. Yes, it is.
I'm coining multiple things today.
You're a coiner today. Absolutely.
Nailed it. All right, Viper Hens. They're going to clear out some wards. I don't think they're strong enough to take down the Baron just yet. Tarzan's in the area, but he's going to go back home. We'll see what item he's going to turn these into. Not going to be the Maw of Malmortius to come in as the first evolution of his items. It's going to be the Black Cleaver first up. He's got a stopwatch that hasn't been completed, hasn't been expended just yet, so no rush towards the Guardian Angel.
And we'll give some pause. Unlike game number 1, we bolted because how could you lose that game? And then we learned something.
Yeah.
There is the playmaking core done for Summit, and there's the poke core, including double magic penetration, done for the Zoe. So you can understand how someone dies on Griffin, but Griffin are still in a place of supremacy.
Oh yeah. OnFleek will take that Prowling Projectile. Is that an AP carry that's throwing that ability out? Because OnFleek's already down to half health. They're looking for their first Drake of the game as Joker is just playing goalkeeper on this one. They do secure it as Joker's just getting beaten around. On Fleek flashing to get out of the way. Chovy goes into his shroud and now the Lost Chapter comes in. The last chapter, in fact, as Tarzan's looking for more. It's Sword that takes down the Sivir. Summit's desperately trying to run for the hills, but the hills aren't far enough away, Papa Smithy. There's a prowling projectile that gets over everything.
There's been a lot of chapters this game, but the final one here might be the final death knell for the team of Sandbox. Griffin can back off. They can go to the Baron, and on Fleek's dead. So are Sandbox's hopes of contesting the Baron, unless your boy Summit can do something creative.
Yep, there's the you and me as Summit's trying to get over here. Does land the abscond, but he's inside the shroud. The you and me's going to be there as well. Everyone's just obstructed as Chovy obliterates the Silas. Summit knew that he was the only man that could really get anything done. Even Dove has to use that hijacked flash in order to get out of the way.
Why is it up again?
Yeah, we got another final chapter. I thought the last one was the final one, Papa, but nope. There's so many final chapters in this book.
This is the final chapter. I wonder how many more things are at the end.
I know, it's like Prey retiring.
So there's a preface. What's the one after the end called again?
Oh, the appendices?
Could be. It's not the one.
Oh, the epilogue?
There we go.
Epilogue.
Maybe there's multiple epilogues.
Yeah, I think it is actually the Lord of the Rings. Is you've got the epilogue and then you've got the appendices, and they go for like 16 different ones.
And they've got some postscripts on them and things like that. There's all sorts of literary terms that no one cares about going on in this game. Watching the replay, and look, they got the Infernal here because they got positioning on the pit. And this is among the best case scenario because Viper is at least not wrecking them in the full bullet hell. It's only the final chapter going down. But you also see that the Yuumi ult alone is zoning so many people, and Tarzan gets some nifty slowdown as well.
And just Lehen's cruising between his teammates to make sure he's in the right positions and then threading the needle on his prowling projectile is why you can see an 18 on that Magi Soul Stealer, which is an indicator for the fact that Griffin have not thrown this game away in any way. 26 minutes into the game, they've got the Baron buff, they've got multiple lanes shoving forward. It's only a matter of time before these inhibitor turrets are going down, unless Griffin make a gigantic error multiple times.
Exactly, and that's the second part is important. One gigantic error doesn't bail
you out. It's not enough.
You need the government to come in, you need some laws to pass, you need some government change.
We need the bills. We need someone to pass the bills. You're exactly right.
And yet, if you pause it, and I think if you showed it 10 analysts, which of the results is more surprising is kind of a weird thing to consider.
Game number one or game number two?
It's so weird.
Yeah.
Because in this one, you're like, okay, they messed up a couple of times, and then didn't do stuff for a while. Korea does that, and then Sivir got 5 items, and I guess they won. Like, you could, But the first one was, something to speak about is Summit getting chunked out. Not good news for Sandbox.
What did all that damage? Was that a shock blast as well as a prowling projectile, or was it Viper hitting with a piercing light as well as a prowling projectile? I know Lehen's damage was in there at some point, but it looked like it was way more than that.
Well, it is an all-you-can-eat buffet of death for Griffin in this game, so I don't think he was a discerning person, and yet that's how much damage went down.
Oh, it's silly. All right. Yuumi proving herself as busted as we expected. As, okay, finally the engage down onto Chovy, but he just dives over. He's going to be fine. Prowling once again here as the inhibitor is going to go down. Lehen's wanting to take matters into his own hands as the cat book finally shows herself.
And this, like you mentioned, is the cat book showing herself on the grandest of stages.
Yeah, and there we go again.
She's got some more stacks now.
Yeah, no need for the bullet hell. I mean, there was a culling available in a couple of seconds, but not going to save it for that one. Just want to grab that kill as quickly as possible. And Ghost, he's not allowed to play League of Legends this game. We're prowling once again as Chovy going down very low. At least Summit still has something in him, but he's not able to get the work done. Chovy locks down that kill very, very easily. The culling flies forward. The Yuumi saying you and me onto everyone, just trying to get all these assists, trying to get that Soul Stealer stacked up, because this game is well and truly over. Nexus turrets to bite the dust, and we're going to game number 3. This series, once again, going the distance.
Game number 2 was very, very